How so I feel like, you know what, Jenae, you got yourself in a situation, now you gotta have to handle it. You made your bed, now you're gonna lie in it. It's gonna be from locked up to life changer, because that's literally what they've done in their own life. This was what it was before, this is what happened in the middle, and this is what's happening after. You guys are gonna hear real life stories. Everybody's story freaking matters, man. Everybody has a money story. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Seamless Money Secrets. I'm so grateful for you guys tuning in, because today is gonna be no interview. There's no one with me today. It's me, myself, and I. I decided to at least kickstart this whole entire journey with my story, because there's a lot of people who do not know who Jenae Murphy is. The licensed financial therapist, the mommy, the friend. A lot of people don't know me. Well, a lot of people who have met me throughout this journey of my financial therapy, they get to know me on a different level as a friend, or like family. Right? I always tell people, like, once we're locked in, we locked in, unless otherwise. But yeah, today's the story of Jenae's money secrets, right? So I am a single mom of two amazing kids. They're amazing. 12 and 10 as of right now, right? Because by who knows when you'll see this. But they're 12 and 10 as of right now, and I guess I just walk you through my journey of like how I came to be who I am as of today. So I am a domestic violence survivor and a depression survivor is what I like to call it. I've overcame so many different things in terms of like dealing with the mental health, working for companies that dealt with mental health, working with companies where as it involved case management, working with companies as it involved the growth of human beings, in every way. I was on a journey to try to figure out what I wanted to do. So really, I wasn't like taught by way of at home. I grew up in a household with my grandmother, who is from Haiti. She's from Haiti, so she only spoke Haitian Creole. I was not allowed to speak Haitian Creole back in the household. So right then and there, it caused a language barrier in the home, but we were still able to understand each other. There was different ways of how we communicated on a different level, right? It didn't have to be like I have to speak your language for you to understand me, and vice versa, or whatever. It was understood. Like whatever needed to be said was said, and we understood each other. Then there was times where like just growing up, I thought, as that's my nana, so I always felt protective of her, even though she was the protector of me. And so I really do honor relationships with like the elderly for that fact. They just have such a way of life that's like, it should be preserved, it should be protected. Other than that, so okay, I'm walking down the path. So I've grown up in this household. I was taken away from my mom when I was 7. I remember being in the courtroom and then divided. I had 4 other siblings on my mom's side. And I remember being in the courtroom and then dividing everybody up. Like, I didn't understand at the time what was going on. I didn't know what was happening or whatever. I would say I was kind of like a clueless kid to a certain extent. Kind of really clueless. And so, kind of went all through life, and I went through I guess my father and my grandmother had joint custody of me, so they ended up kind of figuring out where I was going to be at certain times. Like my father, I lived with him sometimes, whoever he was dating at the time, that's where we was at. Then my nana, I remember going to look for apartments with her and stuff, and it was more, I didn't understand it until I got older, that she wanted my opinion on where we was going to stay or what apartment felt right. And that was when I guess understanding your intuition was a thing. Even at that young age, I had to be about like 10. So I was back and forth between my grandmother and my father at some points. So I was never really stable. So that's the key word, is stability. I didn't have that. I became adaptable in every situation. Like wherever I was at, I had to adapt, and it was uncomfortable. So that's why I was like very shy, I was timid. I kind of suppressed my talents because when I got in like fourth, fifth grade, that was the longest I stayed in a school, for fourth and fifth grade, those 2 years. And at the time, I was staying with my nana, and I remember I was able to flourish in a different way in those 2 grades because I had like the energy was right. I had a great support system in terms of like my classmates in school and the teachers. It was just different from all the other 4 other schools I was already at, from like kindergarten to third grade. And I just hated to be praised or seen as like I don't know. You just get attention. I didn't like it. I knew I could do great things. I knew how talented I was, right? But it was just like as soon as someone noticed it, or a teacher was like, "Oh my God, look at Jenae did this. Jenae was like this." That I was winning all kinds of competitions all the time, and it was a lot. But I suppressed a lot of my talents because I didn't want to be seen. So fast forward. I remember there wasn't any money talks in the household, but I do remember at points where my grandmother was washing clothes in the tub because I'm assuming she didn't have any money to wash clothes. There was times she had me writing. So my favorite part of the job she would give me was writing. I loved working on my penmanship. So I'd help her fill out her money orders. This is back in the day. Money orders used to have like 3 different little pages, right? So it was the main page that was the actual like money order itself, and then in the middle, like right behind it, was this black sheet, and if you touch it, it's like the ink will come off, and then behind that was like the pink slip. That was the actual receipt. So basically, when you're writing on that money order, it will go through the ink from the black slip behind it will go onto the pink slip, and that's how it would create, right? So talk about how we've come up in the world and evolution with receipts. But that was where I flourished when I had to help her. Like, so I'm helping her. We'll go to different, like she'll have a meeting at the bank, and I'd have to be the interpreter, which was weird for me. Now I think about it, because I was literally repeating English words to my grandmother from an English, like the person would say something to me in English to ask her, and then I ask her the same thing in English. But I think I was able to formulate whatever was being asked in a different way for my grandmother to understand. So I was learning how to do that early. So going through school, I learned through experience and being around certain people. I was very strategic about who I hung with, the information I was receiving from people. I was always very curious, always been that way. I think I became more curious as an adult when I found my voice. So I ended up getting pregnant at 21. I barely lived, right? I was clubbing like crazy. Like I felt like I did enough stuff, and I was just at a point where I didn't want to hang out and do the same things anymore. It's like I'm so sick of going to the club. I'm sick of like hanging with the same people every weekend. We're getting together to drink. It was just like no growth, and my mind, my cognitive needed growth. And so when I got pregnant, I was like, I do not want to have it. I am not having nobody's baby, because anybody who knew Jenae then would tell you, like, Jenae didn't care for kids. I didn't care. I worked at a daycare. I even told the lady at the daycare when I first started working. I moved to Georgia when I was 14, came back at 16, and that's when I had my summer job for the first time. And then when that ended, I found work by way of my school. Like they had somebody there that helped you find work on your resume, blah blah blah. So this is the first time I'm encountering anything of the sort. So she put me in to interview for this daycare. She was like, "Have you ever worked with children?" And all I knew was my nieces at the time. I was like, I mean, I work with my nieces, my little brother and sister. It wasn't anything professional. So we what do we do? So I went to the interview. I know for a fact I told the lady I don't like kids. In the interview, I don't like kids like that. I'm not like a fan, and she still hired me. And I was like, like, huh? That's weird. That's very weird, actually. But she gave me a chance, so maybe she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So, let's fast forward. I'm like telling my kid's father at the time, I was like, I don't want nobody's babies. So then, on a spiritual level, I do feel like, what, you got yourself in a situation, now you gotta have to handle it. You made your bed, now you gotta lie in it, type of ordeal. So I ended up just going through the process, and that helped me grow up because I didn't feel like I was prepared mature wise to have a kid. Like, and this is me being honest with myself. I was like, I am not an adult. I was like, I'm 21, but I am not an adult. Period. This is stupid. So I ended up, with my baby, my first child, love her. Both my kids, right? Best thing I could have done for myself in terms of finding my fight, right? It was fight, flight, or freeze. So often I got used to the flight of things. And so as I'm going through this journey as a mom, there's a word there, I've been essayed a couple of times throughout the journey, and the domestic violence came in, and then there was a family member who had mental health issues that alone was a lot because I already didn't have a good support system family wise. I didn't have anybody to turn to. Man, there's so many different things I could just tell you about in terms of just stuff that's happened, right? And it's not gonna, it don't matter, right? I don't know. To me, it just doesn't matter because it happened. I'm here, I'm living. I survived it. I can actually say that, and my heart goes out to those who have not survived it, their families, because that is a very scary place to be when you don't know your way out and you don't have, like, there could be resources, but sometimes those resources, if you say certain things, it can turn into something else, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff, right? And at that time I was just like broke, I was so broke. I was broke on every level. I was broken internally, mentally. I was broke financially, and this person was around, just like taunting me every second, like every chance he had to, like, try to keep me where he was, right? But come to find out that they had mental health issues, like a real one, schizophrenia. It was like an eye opener because I was like, I ain't never heard of that. I've heard people say things, but I've never heard of like what does that even mean? So me being my curious self, right? I went to school to go figure out some things, right? Because I was like, I stopped going to school in like 2009, 10 because I got pregnant. So I was in school. I started my career in 2007 in college, at University of New Hampshire. Left there after a year or two or something. I don't know, 2 semesters. Came back to Mass and tried to figure it out. I was staying with my sister, then I was staying with my mother, and my mom had a substance abuse problem, and I realized at 18 that's why we was all taken away. So I didn't even know this whole entire time, and it was things that happened in between that from when I was in Georgia, and like things it was just stuff happening. I was just like, yo, dude, who, as the adult figures in my life, like, how are you not protecting children? Like, it was just ridiculous. When you get older and you start to realize all these things, you're like, yo, what? Like, how, Sway? I just understand it. But there was things that happened along the way, and I had to find out the hard way about what substance abuse could do. And I remember being hit financially on senses of like my checks being stolen, me being depended on in a way that it was like I didn't really want that type of pressure, but knowing who I am, I'm a giver. I love to give. I want to help, and that was being taken advantage of. So I was in a position to have to go, I was taking my first earnings and paying for a whole entire party for my brother. It was just stupid stuff. Like, it was just so stupid. Oh my God. It was stupid. And I can't tell you enough how, like, all these things led up to the fact that I was like, yo, I can't even, no, there's no reason why we have to live this way. Like, why are we living like this, but yet we're watching shows where people are flourishing, they got money. I'm like, yo, they living in the same world I'm living in. I should be able to, I want to do that. Like, why can't, like, what is it going to take for me to do that? So I started to put myself in positions where I was doing, not just talking, and not conforming to the ways that I'm used to, because it wasn't getting me anywhere. It was hurting me more than it was helping me on multiple occasions. And I remember, this is on a religious, spiritual, whatever it is. I remember getting baptized when I was pregnant with my first child. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what being baptized meant. I was just doing stuff. But it wasn't until there were circumstances that occurred where I understood later what that meant. Like, that was me literally giving control to God. That's who I believe in. Giving control to God, giving control to the universe, whatever word you want to feel better with, right? When I did that, not knowing, I knew, because there was things that was happening. That was like, literally only God could have. That was God. Period. That's it. There's no other way to describe it. There's no other way to explain it. It was God, because there was no human being in positions to help me get out of certain situations that I was in. And so I hold true to stuff like that, and I walk in this path because I heard God tell me financial therapy. There was people who tried to steal the company from me on my ideas. There's just stuff happening. I was just like, yo, I feel like God's trying to tell me, like, this is the path that you have to go down, Jenae. Like, just do it. Just do it. You don't need a team of people. You don't have to have a bunch of people to get started. You don't have to have a bunch of people backing you, because it was never supposed to be a group of people. This is giving to you. This is your task. This is your job. So I took matters into my own hands. I heard how money worked, and it blew my mind. And then I'm like, if I'm blown away, how many more people's mind can I blow away in the same sense? Because this is some important information. Like, and I was already thinking about this years ago, about how come I can't. These rich people living on the same earth. They living in the same continent. They may be in California and I maybe in Massachusetts, but they still here. They're still living in the same world I'm living in. They have access to information that I'm sure I can find my access to, because I'm good at stuff like that. Okay, so a little interruption, because today's episode is sponsored by yours truly, Financial Therapy LLC. We are truly a unique financial firm, helping you pack your pockets whilst understanding your relationship to money. If you want to understand this ever-going relationship, we are here to help guide that exploration. Go to www.financialtherapyllc.com for more info. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I realized how much lack of safety I was having in so many areas of my life, where it's just like there's nobody that's going to protect me. There's nobody that's going to make sure that I'm gonna be straight. On a smaller scale of different things, it was people who just started to show like they can't see you win. They can't see you go further in life past them, because that's unfamiliar to them. There's no way that you're going to be able to pass me, because no, you're not so-and-so in Cali. You're not so-and-so in Atlanta. You're not this person, whatever. And I was like, I love when people doubt me. Like, that's another big thing for me. Doubt me, please. I love that. Because I show up and I prove things to myself that I'm like, yo, I didn't even think I could do it, right? But people like to really put their limited beliefs on you, and you have to be strong enough to go against it and be like, that's your story, that's not mine, that's what you want to believe. No. My belief system is puncturable, because I'm open to new ideas and information, and that's how you grow, and that's how you figure out if the path you're on is going to be for you, because you might hear something by way of being open-minded that might change your trajectory, and you might go into a whole nother path. And you talk about you want to be successful, you might end up successful because you took the time to listen, A. B, you were curious enough to go try that thing that you heard to see if it was befitting for you. And then C, you executed and it was successful. On another hand, but you have to give discernment. On another hand, I know I'm all over the place. I didn't really have any direction when I came in to talk about my money story, because my money story is all over the place. My life was all over the place, hence why the conversation's kind of all over the place, because there's so many things that has happened. But overall, I went down the monkey hole of no money, nobody teaching, right? Like, I'm looking at, and then I'm thinking, and I'm a very logical person. I'm very analytical, and I'm a logical person. So when I was like putting things together in my head, like, oh, y'all should come to my cookout, or I'm inviting you to my birthday party, I'm gonna do it, like, it just became this thing in my mind where I'm like, I'm over here trying to help. So okay, so let's take Rockefeller, let's take Gucci, let's take all these people that everybody want to idolize so much, and let's talk about how that last name is powerful for the family, right? That's the family name. I ain't rocking with my family, because we ain't shit. And I said it. We ain't shit. What am I rocking with you for? Like, you didn't teach me anything. Like, everybody's household was so separated. And I didn't realize that till I got older. Like, I learned nothing. Like, if I have an aunt or an uncle who knows certain information about certain things, they're not getting the family together to talk about these things. So why aren't we doing that, doing more of that? Why aren't we actually coming together to build and be productive in some type of way, shape, or form? It's family members who don't even believe in leaving money behind for their kids, but they got like 1,700 kids. And I'm trying to, and then, you know what? Okay, so let me bring it back. I'm gonna rewind real quick. So I was staying in a domestic violence shelter at one point, and I found my first apartment in, let's say, 3 months, faster than anybody's ever done it. I was told from the directors and stuff of that run the shelter. They didn't even believe me that I had an apartment. I was like, are you sure you found an apartment in 3 months? Like, kind of trying to be condescending about, like, as if I need to sit there and lie to you. Yeah, I don't want to be here. There's people that stay in these shelters for years. I'm not going to be that girl. And that's who I've always been. I've always been very, like, resilient, and I'll go against the grain, and I'm going to fight to make sure I have better, because I believe in having better. So then when I come down into the art of financial therapy, it all came from all these blah blah people. Everybody's a blah blah to me. And I had to realize that by going to all these seminars and whatever else, right? All these things where everybody want to talk and buy tickets to go here. Let's talk about it. You don't know this, and you're not doing this, and all this hype. And it's like, okay, I hate when people tell me things I already know. But I'm trying to. What is the blueprint? Is what it came down to for me. Everybody's always on this. It's a mindset change. You have to change your mindset. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like, okay, got it, noted. Okay, so now what? How do I do that? Give me one thing that I can do that's practical to actually change my mindset. So that's when it became this thing where it's like, okay, I was going to school to finish, I was going for my master's, but actually to do mental health therapy. And then I chose a different route because I didn't agree with the system, and I didn't agree with like what you had to do. And I was already over just being an employee anyway. So I was like, I can't, because I was cussing out bosses, and nobody was exempt from catching these words. Like, nobody. I didn't care. Like, your title ain't gonna protect you. It wasn't gonna protect you. Wrong is wrong. And I've gotten into situations where I was about to wrap somebody up in front of the boss, both bosses, in their office, because no, you're not about to. Especially one of my biggest pet peeves is don't question my character, because how I show up and how I give and how I love is always going to be 1,000,000%. I'm always gonna. I tell people I love them, and they be looking at me crazy, like, all right, I love you. And it's weird to hear from a stranger, but half these people that I say it to believe in God. And it's like, okay, I'm literally leading with love, and I'm leading in a godly way, and it's okay for me to say I love you, because I love everybody exactly how they are, whether good, bad, or indifferent, because it's going to teach me a lot about me. By way of you being you, it's going to teach me a lot about me. My likes, my dislikes, my tolerance is going to help me pay attention to my intuition. It's going to help me pay attention to a lot of things. Once I'm able to conquer all those things, I'm able to conquer my money. Ultimately, because God literally is going to bless me every time. Like, I've watched, oh my goodness, the blessings, man. I'm telling you, the blessings are like, they roll in, and they roll in hard, and I can't even I just have a smile on my face, because it's like literal blessings. When you consciously see things happening that you wasn't intended for it to happen at the time it happened, because you probably wanted it to happen sooner. Oh, it hit different. It feel different. It's just different. And I'm grateful. As I go along this journey, you guys are gonna not only just indulge in watching stuff on YouTube or hearing clips and all that stuff everywhere else, because that's a lot of work, honestly, but you guys are gonna hear real life stories. Everybody's story freaking matters, man. Everybody has a money story. Everybody, like, oh man, the path we're about to go down is going to be so freaking great. And I'm so grateful for everybody who decided to sit and have a conversation with me. And I am trying my hardest not to be invasive at all, because it's not fair for me to be invasive. And, they're going to share as much as they can. And I'm kind of trying to guide the conversation in a way based off of that person's background or that season. So I'm going to construct these seasons strategically by topic. We're going to get like healthcare workers. We're going to have the first season 1. We're opening up with season 1, because there's more than one way to be taken out of one's life. And these amazing individuals are going to come and share their story, It's going to be from locked up to life changer, because that's literally what they've done in their own life. Hence, being a life changer to others, because there's so many misconceptions about stuff. So they get to come in here and tell their story about, nah, this was what it was before. This is what happened in the middle, and this is what's happening after, and what's to come. Because we have the ability to literally create things. So, a powerful thing that I really want to leave you guys with, and of course, they're gonna hear more of me, right? I'll have these single-handed conversations, via me to the world. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna give you something practical to do, and this is something I like to leave people with, especially at like workshops and stuff, because I notice a lot of the times I'm trying to get people to have just a conversation, right? Because I need to learn you as much as you should learn me. We're not gonna get nowhere fast, especially my black men in their ego, my black men in their pride, my black men who have unresolved issues within themselves as it pertains to women, or not even just women. Y'all might have just a bias towards something, right? I don't know what that might be, but the moment you fear having a conversation about something that you are held to a higher standard to know about and hone in on and really do the best by, which is money, you're gonna go nowhere fast. So I'm asking you to please, you don't need to jump in every bucket either, right? Don't jump in every bucket because it sounds good, like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to do this, like, no. Honestly, I can't teach something that to anybody if they don't want to learn it. I'm just relaying information. I show people what it is that they have the ability to do, that they probably never thought they had the ability to do. I am literally trying to give hope to the hopeless, because there's so many hopeless people out here. So many people trying to come upon quick money like this. Like, boom, money. I got $100,000 in an hour, which is possible depending on what you do. But all money ain't good money. Let's start there. In order to make money, you do not have to lose it. Okay? Making money is important. Your longest standing relationship will forever and always be money. So why not hone in on understanding your relationship to that? Because it's going to grow with you. You catch that? It's going to grow with you. You are not who you were at 5 years old. You are not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were 10 years ago. You're not who you're going to be in 5 or 10 years is not who you are now. So your money story is going to be changing. It's going to change all the time. You're going to get hurt by it. You got to pay attention to like the losses that you've taken and like how it made you feel. Like, did you feel like, oh, it's whatever, it was expected? Do you feel like, damn, that hurt me? That hurt my pockets. That hurt. Like, that might potentially bring me back a million steps. Or you might feel like, you know what? I know what not to do next time, kind of ordeal, right? And then you have people who are like, it's all right, I'm going to just try something else, right? Sometimes you get things presented to you, the same things presented to you in a different form, which then has you insane because you're doing the same thing over and over again because you're not paying attention to what you're doing as it pertains to your money. So along this journey, you're going to hear a bunch of stories about different things that relate to that. Like, how did it hurt you? How did it make you feel happy? Like, what was the first thing you did if you did have this? Or what if you did win the lottery? Are you sure you want to win the lottery? If you had a tangible way to actually win the lottery without playing the lottery, would you do it? I'm gonna ask certain questions because a lot of times we're not paying attention to, you know, taxes aren't gonna go up. Yes or no? Yes, a yes or no answer right there, right? What are we gonna? What do you plan on doing about it if the taxes go up? What happens? What happens to you financially if it does go up? Because 2008 happened, whether we liked it or not. It happened, and a lot of people had to go through hard times. And then I'm asked to, like, if I can help you design a strategy where when hard times come, you never have to worry about it because you were already in a position to be protected by it. Would you not want to hear that information? Nobody's making you do anything. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. Nobody's putting a knife to your neck. Like, it ain't that type. It's not that type of ball game, ever. We just need to get more realistic. And the more realistic we get about how we about to shed light on how we moving with our money, oh, that's why we're gonna be abundant. We're gonna be abundant regardless. You just have to be ready and willing to listen and use logic. Facts are facts. I'm not gonna sit here and share something with you that I haven't tried myself. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you false stories or opinions because the facts are the facts. But I will use logic. You best believe that much. But seamless money secrets. I always like to end with a money secret learned or money secret that I have to give that I've found out about for myself. So money secret that I learned is what is a money secret that I learned? There's so much. I learned a lot from a lot of people. So I guess the money secret I learned was, I don't know if this is like a secret or just like a question, but like the whole saying of you gotta lose money to win to make more money. I don't know where the hell, like, who came up with that? That is dumb. That's the dumbest thing that is dumb. Okay? Dumb to the dumb dibbity diggity dumb. There's no other way to say that. It's dumb, it's stupid, it's foolish. We all about the teams I'm rolling with. I'm sitting in rooms with people that we try to emulate. So why not? Why not get that information and bring it back to those who are not? You aren't sitting at the same table with me because I know I'm in those rooms. You're not getting the same information that I'm getting, so I know you don't know this information. So I would say, money secret, keep more, make more, and live more. It's possible in the safest way. And it's money placement. That's another key thing. It's money placement that will change the game for you. Placement is everything. You don't always have to go spend mad money to go make more money. No. You want your money. Call me the money doula. That's your money secret. So, with that, guys, I know I was all over the place because it really wasn't planned and I didn't have like a trajectory of like how I was going to go about this conversation, but I was trying to give you a little insight on who Jenae is, slightly, in the most crazy way, because I don't know. I don't even know if what I said made sense in order. It wasn't in order. It was just kind of walking you down my path of who I am, what I come from, how I became a financial therapist in general, how my kid, like I have children. So this is something that's not about me. When we talk about generational anything, generational wealth means that your money is making babies. And if your money ain't making babies, then you shouldn't be having the conversation of generational wealth at all, because that's not your mindset. Your mindset is to kill generations because you're letting your money die in multiple areas of your life. So be mindful about that. And yeah, that's all I got for you so far. And enjoy these seasons. Enjoy listening to these stories. They're important. And we got this, right? We got this. We got this. We're gonna flourish. We're gonna close that wealth gap. We're gonna do it the right way. So until next time, you guys, thank you for listening, and I hope it was impactful ultimately. I'll holla at you next time. Bye.